I don't know if you have thought about this, but I have.
Okay.
I've been pregnant for every single episode that we've recorded. So. Yeah. So I cannot wait until I'm not pregnant, and I'm going to put it down as an idea right here, right now.
Oh.
We do an episode locked one of the nights.
Yes. Oh my God, that would be good.
We drink loads of alcohol.
Yeah.
And talk about something really controversial.
Or why don't we just go have a chat?
We just have drunken chat.
Drunken chat.
I love it.
You've been pregnant for the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I love it. Jesus, Castleknock is getting very fucking dodgy. There's a chopper outside.
There's a chopper.
There's a chopper. Hello, and you are very welcome along to the Unpopular Opinion podcast. My name is Jen.
And I'm Carla.
And this is Carla.
I always do it in a weird accent.
Yeah.
I can never just say my name.
No.
Say my name.
So, Carla, what's this episode about?
We're talking about social welfare benefits. Benefit fraud.
Benefits is such an English way.
Benefits is an English thing, isn't it? But it is called benefits over here.
Yeah, would.
Because I know it's really weird. I don't know tons about benefits, and like I don't know how much you're.
Yeah, I know the bare minimum. It's kind of hard to just find a list of what people are entitled to.
Well, that's a problem, isn't it?
And it is a problem because one, we're doing a podcast about it, so that would have been handy. But also,
no, I've looked. Like I actually did the research. I just they don't put it out there because obviously you're hard to be like, oh, brilliant!
Sorry, I get you.
I can apply for T-shirt benefit. Yeah, super. I'll just go and get my T-shirt.
But this is the thing. Like I often hear of people saying, do you know, like you'd hear, she's able to get an allowance for her hair. She's able to get an allowance.
Yeah, and you're like, what?
They left a buggy at the bus stop and they're going to get another free. You often hear these things, but you don't know how true they are.
Okay, I've never heard about the buggy at the bus stop.
This is the thing. Like, you do hear of just those. There's things that often kind of always come up.
I've heard of things like, you know, typical immigrants coming into Ireland and they know how to play the system, and they're all up in the office because they know how to play the system because they know about everything. I'm like, well, where the fuck are they finding the information? Because I can't. Yeah.
Hearsay. All their mates ringing home.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, all their mates are ringing home.
All the mates are ringing back home.
Sometimes, look, it is an unpopular opinion, and it is a kind of an ignorant way to be thinking, I suppose. But sometimes you can't help but think that way. I'm sorry. Like, me and Adam were watching, actually this is just a small example, but me and Adam were watching The Rotunde, the reality show. It's like a
wouldn't be for me, yeah.
It's like one born every minute, but it's in The Rotunde.
About children wouldn't be for me, yeah. No problem.
And this episode, it was last week, or no, maybe it was the first episode. So basically they show like various different couples, but on this particular episode there was a lady who came over from Nigeria. She found out she was pregnant in Nigeria, found out she was pregnant on triplets.
Ooh.
And left her husband and her 10-year-old daughter behind in Nigeria and came over here and had the babies here. Now, obviously, I don't know what the situation is there or what the reasoning is behind it, but the people who, and I did watch it with Adam at a later stage, but I watched it with somebody else, I won't say who it was, before I watched it, because I'm making him watch them all, even if it means I have to watch it a second time, because I'm just like, no, I'm going through this, you need to watch this.
Oh, really?
The first time I watched it, the people who I was watching it with, that's straight away where their mind went. Look at her coming over here to have our kids. Look at her coming over for the system.
What was her reasoning?
She didn't. Well, they didn't say that, but that was, and then Twitter as well said it as well. It was on
but
Twitter.
At the same time, like it's such a weird one because you're like, don't be mooching off the state. Nobody should be mooching off the state. I'm like, more people should actually be mooching off the state. Maybe then they wouldn't be spending fucking 10 million on like a haircut. Do you know what I mean?
Like, to be honest,
cars.
I'd probably do better on the benefit system than working.
I think you would, yeah.
I fucking would.
I think you would. I think you're actually, yeah.
But I do think that's the mentality with a lot of people as well, because I do know a few people who have, and at this current time in this situation, one of the people I know who are specifically in the exact same situation that I'm in, just had a kid, working.
Yeah.
She, now, granted, she is a single parent, she's not with the partner anymore, but since she had the kid, she applied for HAP, and she's obviously getting children's allowance, single parents. But basically, she moved into a house. The rent on it is 2,300 a month.
Jesus.
She's paying €420.
Wow.
HAP are paying the rest. And she's clearing about €500 a week.
No way.
Yeah. Like, walking around money. And she's, like, obviously, she's working. She's only on maternity leave. She still has to go back to work. And I was speaking to her recently. And now I don't work with her or anything. I was just kind of speaking to her because I do know her. She was like, "Oh, Jen, I don't know whether to go back to work because I'll be earning less if I go back to work."
Yeah, and because of the way with the childcare.
Yeah.
That's, I think, to be honest, that's my biggest gripe with the benefit system. I just don't think there should be any reason why childcare is so expensive.
Oh,
there should be schemes, there should be government ran creches, government ran preschool, Montessori's, whatever there should be support for people so that it can actually, because it's better for your mental health to go back to work.
Oh, absolutely.
And to actually have that time, because like I was only talking about it earlier with one of my friends, and it's like so many women, because they're put under such pressure, their life becomes their child, whereas your child should fit into your life, not the other way around.
People would have different opinions about that.
Yeah, but at the same time, I just like think about it. If you're deciding to have a baby, you have to mould it into your life for you to continue on. If you make your life about your children, where's your life gone?
Yeah. No, I understand that. I see both sides.
Yeah.
I just know that there are people who don't think like that.
Yeah.
And they never will.
No, that's fair. But that's not me, so.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know I won't know until I have the kid what way I'm going to be, but...
The kids.
The kids.
Da baby.
I personally would like to see myself always working, but when you're in a situation like that where you're probably going to be clearing more,
sitting on your hole,
not just sitting on your hole, you're looking after your kid, like, but
it's a lot. Like, and everybody that I talk to, it's a lot. It's a lot of baby, it's a lot of home, it's a lot of and I think you only really get into the swing of maternity, I think, towards the end, and then you have to go back to work.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck's sake.
Well, that's where the whole thing comes in, where you could obviously take the extra unpaid leave, or you can take up to a year unpaid. But if you are getting your payment from the state,
I was going to ask about that.
Okay, so basically, your job chooses. It's down to your job what they do. Okay. So they can either pay you your full wage in full while you're gone, on the basis that you're going to be coming back. Public sector mainly do that. Like if you work for the HSE, and you know there are quite a lot of, and maybe some private companies. It is really nice. It's so nice that you can just not have to worry about it.
Not have to worry and just be like, that's going to be my wage. That's going to be that.
Exactly. And then there are places of work that don't do that, and you have to then apply for the state maternity leave payment, which is basically social welfare payment for your maternity leave. Most places do that. Most private sector places would do that. My place where I work does that. So I had to apply for maternity benefit I did it back in July, just because I was told horror stories about how long it takes to come through or whatever, even though I'm not going to be getting it until the middle of October. And I got a letter, I only got a letter about 3 weeks ago actually, saying it was something along the lines of, congratulations, you are being awarded maternity leave. It was the writing of it. I was like, not that do you know what I mean? I'd never turn around and go, well, I'm fucking entitled to that. Do you know what I mean? I'd never put myself like, do you know what I mean? I know I am, but I wouldn't really have that attitude. But I just thought the wording of it was so fucking patronising. I'm like, bitch, I've been working since I was in 5th year of school. Like, so fucking patronising. You are being awarded this. Because I've never claimed anything on the social welfare system around like that. I just thought the wording of it was so fucking patronising. Anyway, I'm going to be earning €245 a week, which has been upped since last year.
What was last year?
I don't know what it was last year, but it did go up in the budget.
So that'll be
$245 a week.
Nearly $1,000 a month.
Nearly $1,000 a month. It's
Jen.
I'm dreading it. Now I don't earn a lot. I don't earn a lot in work. Anyway, it's not. It's a very modest wage that I get, but I am fucking dreading going on it. It's just not doable, in my opinion. Like, because I pay money. I'm living with my parents at the moment because I'm saving for a house, and I'm going to be paying them money. They're going to be not looking after me, but I pay kind of board and I give money towards the bills. Do you know what I mean? And that's going to go up when I have the kids. So
I get you a few spawns or ads or something, maybe.
Stop.
Just boost the salary.
And then can you even? I couldn't even do that, I don't think, because I'd be getting social welfare.
So it's weird. I know. I don't know what it's like on maternity though, because your job just simply doesn't pay the maternity, but then it would be an outsourced income.
Yeah, I know.
It's a weird one.
Yeah.
That's great.
I will, that's right.
He's an accountant. He'll be able to tell you. I think you'd have to declare it and you'd have to pay a tax on it, but I'd be afraid that it would actually affect your maternity benefit. It is really... No, but isn't it so annoying how there's no real information on that either?
Well, it does say, in fairness, it does say on the application and on the letter, it makes it abundantly clear that, listen, if you start earning money elsewhere, you need to let us know, otherwise we could just whip it off you, basically.
I think what they do, because I know with job seekers, so job seekers is actually way more complicated than I'd ever anticipated. One of my friends is on job seekers for a while and I just totally didn't understand it, but there's allowance and benefit.
Oh, I've heard of this.
So I don't know what comes first and what comes second, but allowance is taken from your tax credits and then benefit is from the state's tax credit. So you're almost paying yourself, job seekers, for the first 9 months, I think it is.
Yeah.
And then you get transferred over onto benefit.
Okay.
Or the other way around, I think
I actually know of somebody who, I'll tell the story in a minute, but it is allowance after benefit.
So it's benefit first, and then it's allowance afterwards. Yeah, no, that would make sense, yeah. So it's that kind of payment. What is it now? Two.
It used to be the 188.
No, it's not 188 anymore. It's gone up. I think it's 204.
Okay.
I think... Yeah, no, it's definitely gone up. It's definitely over 2. It could be 210, could be 25, could be... It's somewhere. It's below 220, but above 200.
Okay.
That's all I can remember. And yeah, so basically it's worked off your tax credit, so you almost pay your own and then you have to reapply.
Oh gosh.
So if you've been on it for more than, I think it's 6 to 9 months, I can't remember, but... I think all these details, but that's when you have to reapply. You have to go through the system and be means tested and give all your bits and bobs again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So their hope would be that you would find a job in that.
Yeah. Well, when you go on job seekers, they give you a caseworker.
Okay.
So everybody who's on job seekers gets a caseworker, and that caseworker works with you every so often, I think every 2 months maybe, to see how many applications you've done. But even to sign up for job seekers, you have to give them proof that you're actually searching for work. It's not like in the old days where
you just automatically went on
it. Now you have to prove that you're actually continuously seeking work.
Right, okay.
And if you're saying no to things, they challenge you on it.
Okay.
But that kind of never really sat well with me, because I feel like if you're on job seekers, you're most of the time you genuinely would rather work. But I know a lot of people are like, no, there's loads of scroungers on job seekers, but I don't know any. I don't know anyone that I've grown up with, any of my friends. I don't know anybody who's gone on job seekers for the crack.
Oh no, it's definitely not good crack being on it. But what did I see before? Oh yeah, okay, so I work in a retail environment, and it has happened, like you were saying, that people need to prove that they're applying for jobs.
Yeah.
You will often get people come in, never seen them before, they're not even a customer where I work, and they hand you the piece of paper and they're like, hey, can you sign this and say that I applied for a job?
No.
Always, obviously, we refuse them. But it's happened more than once.
But sure, all you'd have to do, surely, is just go online and fire a few CVs in.
Yeah.
And you get the receipt of them. It's all online nowadays.
Yeah.
How to get a job, LinkedIn, all your bits and bobs. All you'd have to do is like show your LinkedIn or your... No?
Yeah, but that's happened. No, this was like an actual social welfare thing that you needed to stamp and sign. And like they were obviously going through...
When was this?
I know this was the last time that I encountered it personally. Was probably a couple of years, about 4 years ago. Could have been.
Oh, yeah. Because I think they change things all the time.
Right, okay. But that person, like, because obviously we're in kind of like a row of shops, like a little shopping centre, but we all know each other in the different shops. And like, you be talking to each other, and they literally just go into every single unit and ask them all the same thing. Like, will you stamp and sign that for me? Say that I applied for a job.
Okay, Scarlett.
Yeah. And I wouldn't believe that only for I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah, again,
you know
like
I mean?
that, blanket statement of me to say, but I just don't know anybody who's ever been on job seekers who hasn't been actively looking for a job.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, you don't want to just get a job to get a job. You want to get the right job.
That's it, and as well.
Sometimes that can take a long time. Some jobs processes. Like one of my friends was in a job process for 12 weeks.
Oh God. Oh yeah, no, there's like
3 or 4
aptitude
rounds.
tests and stuff now. Yeah.
Mad fucking shit. It's the 1-2 rounder gone. The 1 round is totally gone. I don't know one job nowadays that people is just a 1 round interview.
Oh no. There's always it's like nearly a callback.
Yeah. Oh, acting. Oh, were you an actress? No. Oh my God. But yeah, I don't know anybody. So like if that process goes on or there's delays or, the hiring manager takes annual leave or the HR manager takes annual leave or you're away, any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's going to take a while. What I found funny, and like I said, I was going to tell you a story about how I knew it was benefit and then allowance.
Yeah.
Somebody that I know, she has kids.
Yeah.
And recently coming off job seekers, is going back to work.
Yeah.
And kind of, what was it? Yeah, it was back to school because she's gone back to work and then the kids are gone back to school.
Yeah.
And somebody had told her that she could get the back to school allowance or some sort of money, or it was a medical card. It was something that she could have benefited from before she got back into work, just to try and get something out of them because she has been working all of her life. And it was just that the timing of this, it was just, I think she was made redundant actually. And she did get a job as soon as she could. If you
get made redundant though, and you get a payout, you can't go on job seekers.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's a complicated.
Yeah, maybe.
No,
yeah,
it's not as easy as I'm making it out.
It wasn't a straight line. Yeah,
exactly. But basically, she was on job seekers. Then it went past the threshold. She was on job seekers allowance.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then this interview came up. She was getting her job. And she was trying to get something, I think, for the kids. It was going back to school allowance. And she applied for it and she got refused. And the reason for her getting refused was, oh no, you can't, you're not entitled to that when you're on job seekers. And it was like...
No way.
Yeah, no, but listen to this is how I know. And she wrote back to them saying, no, I'm not on job seekers, I'm on job seekers allowance. And then they got back to her and said, oh, okay, right, well here's like 400 quid for your kids going back to school. So the difference between job seekers and job seekers allowance, like the longer you're on it, the more you're entitled to, is what I got from that situation.
Oh my God.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because it was allowance versus benefits.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was in the background. I was like, no, Jen, that means...
No.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So she wasn't working off her stamps anymore. She was claiming from the state.
Stamps. That's just such an old-fashioned phrase,
I know,
isn't
yeah.
it? I've used that stamps.
Yeah, but that's the way that it worked, and you can kind of see why people would stay on it that bit longer, because it goes to show that you're actually entitled to more the longer that you're on it.
Yeah, defo. I think it's also tough, like, especially for, say, somebody who's a freelancer, but doesn't have consistent freelance business.
Yeah.
But I don't know they probably do supplements and a few bits and bobs for that, but I don't know one freelance. Everybody that I know that does freelance work fucking hates their life. Yeah. Because it's so difficult to get your invoices processed and be on top of things 24/7. Do your accounts, do your bits, it's a lot, like, I think people think that like if you're a freelancer you have a great life. I'm like, you absolutely don't. There's something very blissful about a 9 to 5 or an 11 to 7 or whatever for a company.
I don't know. It's yeah. In regards to, like, because I actually had a quick scan and we'll read some of the DMs out now, but it depends on, with social welfare as well, what you're claiming and how you are about it, whether you're smart about it, because there are different things that you can claim for. Yeah,
there's different things I know you can put in for, and it's funny now because they've put revenue all online. So it's none of this bullshit where you have to call them up and fight them back and forth so now there's none of this tax back or emergency tax if you're clever enough and you set yourself up properly on your revenue.ie. And I think was it Ray telling me that from this year onwards they've taken the responsibility of, you know, I don't think employers are doing, oh shit, I wish I could remember. It's something to do with tax, but basically it's your responsibility nowadays to make sure that your tax is being paid correctly.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I would have always put that down to the employer now.
Yeah, it's something to do with now at the end of I think it's a 2020 thing.
This year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure. Yeah.
Is this got to do with the MyGov ID?
Yeah.
This thing?
Yeah. That thing. Yeah.
I applied for that this year. Obviously I do if I'm going on maternity leave, but I actually didn't apply for it in the sense that, I'm going to need that, so I'll apply for it. I actually saw, because I had to renew my licence and change my address on it, I saw that you could do it online if you had one of those social services cards.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit, look, it's fucking free to get one. I might as well just get one. That would have been handy with my licence or whatever. And then I was like, oh, actually, I'm going on maternity leave, so that I need one.
Yeah, you're like, oh shit, yeah, no, I actually need one.
But you actually
do you have
can
to collect
do a lot.
or does it get paid into you?
No, it gets paid into your bank.
Oh, grand.
Yeah, but because I have a set time on it, like I have a date where I'm going to start getting it and a date where it's going to stop coming to me. Do you know what I mean?
Is it 6 months?
6 months, yeah.
And then what if you want to take the 3?
Oh, that's, you just get no money.
Oh, stop.
That's what I could not afford to do that.
So you can only take 6 months?
Yeah, I could only take 6 months unless if I was willing to just not get any payment for it, and then Adam would have to support the 3 of us. Like, but we're trying to save for a house, so I'm not going to do that. Like, do you know what I mean? I can't afford to.
No,
and
it's
like
just really
between
tough,
what we've been saving, how much the baby's going to cost, the amount of money that I hand up, and like the cost of living in general, like car insurance, car tax, everything.
Yeah.
I'm fucking dreading this. I won't be, and like I said, I only get a modest wage. I'm not gonna be like that.
You're not a high earner, like,
no,
yeah.
do you know what I mean? But the extra kind of 150 quid that I'm gonna be missing out on, I'm gonna miss it so much. Like,
you're gonna be like, fuck my life.
I know. It's a bit of a pain in the absolute hoop.
I think it's gas as well, because again, it's all about appearances, isn't it? Or you think you'd be like, oh, she'll be grand now because she does her bits and she's a person on the internet, so therefore she'll be fine.
Oh no, absolutely. I will struggle.
Yeah, I know you will.
And I will see myself going down. Now, like, obviously Adam will still be working and he will be supporting us as much as he can.
Yeah, but if you go from a double earning household to a single earning household, that's very rough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
save them pennies,
I don't know if I'm going to have to just put a halt on the saving for the house, which is going to be a pain in the hole, because that's going to set us back 6 months.
But 6 months is nothing. 6 months is fucking nothing. I know, but 6 months is nothing. When you have the baby, like, everything's going to be so different.
I know, but I'm already fucking struggling living back in my parents' house. Like, I can't be dealing. Had a little cry this morning. I just wanted my house and me boys back.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? Had a little pity party for myself.
Pity party for one.
Pity party for one.
Pity party for me, myself, and I.
I'm here. We go through a few DMs.
Yeah, I have a cold, everybody, by the way. It's that time of year.
It's the time of year. It's
just if you're wondering why I'm a bit...
shittiest time of the year.
It really is.
I have one here. I come from a family who have never been, quote unquote, well off, but have never been eligible for any sort of financial assistance, and I've always found that people on welfare, rent allowances, medical cards, get their college fees paid, etc., seem to somehow come out with more disposable money all the time. They manage to have more nights out, more holidays than us, people who work and earn a decent wage, but then have to pay full whack for absolutely everything. Always bothers me that there's a bit of an all or nothing system in Ireland where you're either not eligible for any assistance or you get absolutely everything. It just doesn't even out.
I think that's people's, like, as I was saying earlier about the whole crash thing, I'm sure it's all been looked into before. I'm sure I'm not absolutely crazy, but sometimes it hasn't.
Well, there's a free year you can get when I think the kid is either 2 or 3. There is a free crash year that you get.
Oh.
And I think if you are on social welfare, there is some sort of system where if you're eligible for some sort of allowance, you only pay €1 a week or 50 cent a week for crash. Don't quote me on that. Don't know what it is. I barely listen to these things because they don't apply to me. And if I tried to find that online, I wouldn't fucking be able to. But there are some things in place. But generally, for the working parents, they have to pay full whack for a crash, and it's not fucking cheap.
What are you going to do about childcare?
My ma.
Oh, fab.
Yeah.
You're very lucky.
Nana Hatton. Oh, yeah, she offered.
I know, but it's one good, like, isn't it?
Yeah,
like, at least that's one good thing that you have going, like.
Yeah. No, I'll still give her money, like, do you know what I mean? I'm not going to, she won't do it for free. But not that she won't do it for free, but like I wouldn't let her do it for free either. Do you know what I mean? It's just always been the way.
Yeah.
She looked after my sister's kids as well, so do you know? It's just she's just one of them ma's, you know. She's very good.
I know. My mum's always like, I'd love it. My mum's, trying to coax me into having children.
Oh yeah.
That would be her favourite thing in the world now. So I was like, I'd mind it. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't, Dee. I was like, no, you wouldn't. Not when I'm like, hey, I want to go out this weekend. She'd be like, oh, honey, I'm out this week. I'd be like, yeah, I know you are. Fucking bullshit. Like, I'll take it for an hour on a Sunday. Yeah, really good. Love it.
I do understand where that listener is coming from, though, where she says, like, if you're entitled to everything, you don't have to pay for anything.
Yeah.
But if you're not entitled to anything, you have to pay full whack for everything. Because I remember before I was earning, what was I earning? So my hours have kind of changed over the years. From one stage I was doing 3 days, next stage I was doing 4 days. My wages have kind of gone up and down over the last couple of years. And I remember there being a stage where I had to go to the doctor and I actually couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford to go to the doctor. The doctor's 60 quid. And
that's a lot though.
It is. And I couldn't afford to go to it. Whatever happened that week, I think I was paying back my car loan and maybe insurance would come out that week. It was something like that, but I really needed to go to the doctor. And I just looked into to see would I be even eligible for a doctor visit card. And I think I was €11 off the threshold.
Oh God.
So like if you think I was €11, I was earning €11 too much, but the doctor is 60 quid. So like
you're like, how does that work out?
So like, do you know what I mean? So it's 49 quid that, you know, it just, sometimes you're just like, oh, for fuck's sake. And then you have people who are on the dole, and obviously like I said, I'm gonna be earning $2.45. I wouldn't be able to fucking afford the doctor then either. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't expect people on the dole to have to pay 60 quid either.
Yeah.
But it just does seem very unfair that even low earners aren't available. Like
there should be.
Stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it should be a tiered system, I feel.
Yeah, it's.
I think it makes sense because sometimes people, and even for their own happiness, like I know a lot of people that have dropped wages, gone back to like smaller jobs because they just didn't like their. And it's kind of like, it's shit because it always comes down to money.
Oh, it is.
Every single thing comes down to money. So it's like, would more people, it's just tough, isn't it, to try and kind of prosper it and be like, what would it look like?
Yeah.
In a different kind of way. Got one here actually that's quite interesting. Quick thought on the topic of benefits allowance, specifically the back to school allowance. Forgot about that.
That's the one I was talking about, yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
But the girl that I know that had to write back and say, oh, I'm on job seekers allowance.
That one. Sorry,
that's
that
how
one.
I got it.
Sorry, I was like...
Yeah.
I'm a primary school teacher in what would be described as an underprivileged area in Dublin. It's our 5th week back to school, and despite all the parents of the children in the class receiving back to school allowance, some children still don't have books and copies. I don't have any children myself, but I honestly think it's disgraceful. The book list is given out in June each year, giving parents 3 months to get the money together to get the books and the copies. What adds fuel to the fire for me personally is that there are some children in the class with no books or copies who've already been taken out of school this year to go abroad on holiday.
I see that shit boils me blood.
I'm all for everybody having their holidays, but I feel like people need to have their heads looked at and get their priorities straight. Not sure if this is any benefit for the podcast, but looking forward to hearing it.
Yeah, see that stuff, you can't help but jump straight to a judgment on when you hear something like that.
You're so right. You just go automatically.
You automatically go fucking scroungers.
Yeah.
Don't you? And it's very hard not to. Like, your brain does that regardless of whether you wanted to or not. Like,
yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Your brain.
You'd be like, oh, Johnny's going on a holiday, is he?
Yeah.
There's this fucking Irish book.
No fucking spelling book.
No spelling book, can't spell holiday.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
Johnny's off on holiday.
Yeah, I completely understand where she's coming from. And as well, like, what have I heard before about? Like, sometimes you'll see schools in disadvantaged areas generally have better services than private schools as well. Now, private schools, it's down to them what they spend their money on, obviously. But, like, I've heard, what was it? One of the schools in the comparison, and I'm trying my best because I do know people who are close to me. I'm trying my best not to name these people.
Not to out them.
You know what I mean?
Hello.
And it's absolutely nothing on them. It's just what I've experienced and what I know to be true. Like, the difference between two kids. One kid that I know goes to a school in a disadvantaged area. She gets her breakfast, lunch and dinner in school. All paid for. You know?
Yeah.
And then another one, it's like there's a fucking letter coming home every week about money that she has to pay for something fucking else. Do you know what I mean?
It's like, by the way, and they need it.
Yeah.
So.
And it's all going to the parents' committee, and you very rarely see any of the fucking benefits from it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Oh God, it's mad, isn't it? Like, but it's funny as well because I just feel like, not they're more savvy, but they do. Like, there is like one of my friends who he got a grant to go to college, and they were all thought about that in sixth year. But like what grants they could apply for, all those other kind of things. Their guidance counsellor was like really vocal on that. I didn't get well, obviously I wouldn't have qualified for a grant, but like they were all thought about because of where they grew up.
Jesus. I didn't. One of my reasons for not going to college is because I couldn't afford it, and I didn't want to ask my ma to do anything about it for me.
I feel very...
Like, I went around going, oh yeah, I'm just going to kill, I'm just going to take a year's break and all that.
Did you want to go to college?
I would have liked to do something. I was mad about interior design. I knew that's what I wanted to do. But at the time, I was like, I did LCA. I didn't qualify for college. I would have to do a PLC course and then move into higher education. But I just felt like it wasn't an option for me.
It is. You forget how much, because my dad was always like, I'll pay your way through education. That was just always in my house. That was always it.
Yeah.
I never had to save for college. My dad just paid for it. That was just the way that it was. I think it's his parents were the same. They're very like, anything that you want to do education wise. Apart from my last, just remember I've been to college, uni 3 times now. The last one I did myself because I think they were like, come on now.
Yeah,
you've made us pay whatever amount of money. Yeah. Twice.
Yeah. I feel like because I've been working since I was 16. Like, I was not that I was forced to. I'm not like I'm making my mum out to be really fucking. She's not. Do you know what I mean? It was a realistic upbringing that I had. Yeah. And I feel like because I was working at the time, I was like, that's it. I'm financially my own responsibility now. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
It's scary, isn't it? That time in your life where you kind of like you're cut off. You're not cut off, but you realise like that's the handout's over.
That's it. But it's changed now. Like, when you leave school, if you've no college to go to or if you've no jobs to go to, you get a form of the dole. It's like €100.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, that was not it back in our day.
No,
that was not it.
It is a recent thing. I think it's in the last kind of...
It's good though.
In the last
takes
10
a bit of pressure
years.
off people maybe. Because I do feel like the problem is a lot of times though, and I say to everybody, and I mean I must have said it, like the amount of part-timers that I used to have working for me, and when you come out of college, you get really kind of panicky, and a lot of people will just go into a job and stay in that job because they get comfortable and it's what they know, rather than actually doing the harder thing. And that's when things start to get like, I know people that are like 27, 28 that are like, I couldn't restart my career now. I'm like, you're in your 20s. Yes, you could. There's people that do it in their 50s. Come on. You know? So I do feel like in a way it's nice though, because it kind of gives them just a bit of a like, okay, relax, have a think, what do you want to do? Because there's so many people, Jen, that do. They go straight to get a job, and they're in that job for God knows how long. Like when I worked
it happened to me.
Look at you. Yeah, exactly.
It happened to me, but flip side of that,
yeah,
I know so many young fellas that have gone down the wrong road because they've had fuck all to do.
True.
Because they were getting handouts after.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. It's there's two sides of that.
And the financial strain wasn't on their parents; it was just given to them by the state.
Yeah. I suppose it is. It is such a weird one.
Yeah,
because you're like, on one hand, yeah, it takes the pressure off people, because I know I fucking panicked. I went into a retail job.
Yeah.
I stayed in that retail job for way too fucking long, and then I went into another retail job, and then I worked my way up that way, and then I was doing this and I was doing that. Do you know, I was always doing odd bits while all my friends were in college, and they were almost as if like, that's grand because we're in college, and I'm like,
yeah,
you know, and it's gas because it's like the 10 years that I worked in the industry though. Like, they level out almost because it was all the experience that I had versus them freshly out of degree. Do you know what I mean? It was kind of a weird one. Like, they'll always probably be higher earners than me in the long run.
Yeah.
Because it's just in the, you know, there is just some jobs in Ireland that you're going to be like, if you're an engineer, you're going to get higher earning than somebody who's, you know.
I get you.
Dibbits.
I get you. I have one here. Hey, gals, don't give my name, please, because the surname will give away the type of business my family own. I don't have an issue with the system. I think it's amazing for people who genuinely need it, and it's a welcome to help. Completely agree with you. My issue is when people abuse it. My parents have their own business, and have a couple of years ago, a girl that worked for them decided to take full-time hours off, but also claim her social. She worked 40 hours a week, but was able to do her X's and O's and say she worked 15 hours over 3 days. So she got 40 hours at €13 an hour. And her full social every week. She was forging the signature on her social sheet, so my parents received a fine of over €5,000 because to revenue it looked like they were trying to scam the system for their employees. Long story short, they didn't have to pay the fine, but the girl no longer works there, obviously. But some people are just disgusting when it comes to money. Absolutely love the podcast, by the way. I look forward to it every week. So she was like, obviously abusing it while working her 40-hour week and getting her employees in trouble over that. Fucking hell.
I mean, I'm sure at one point in our lives we've all done something for cash in hand.
Oh yeah, like some people just get
even if it's helping your uncle or helping your fucking dad in the office on the weekend or something. Yeah, the nixer. The nixer gaff. Yeah. But that's obviously a clear fucking piss take.
Yeah, absolutely. Have another one here. Social welfare should be a safety net, not a comfort blanket. And there's a hell of a lot of people in this country using it as a comfort blanket because they can't be arsed getting a job and making a contribution to society. If I was running the country, I would cut those people off and give way more genuine cases, in brackets, carers, pensioners, disability, etc. Plus, I feel job seekers' allowances should be based on the amount of tax that you're after paying. So someone who lost their job after 25 years should be getting more money than someone who never bothered their arse working.
Actually, very fair point.
Yeah, I agree with that last point.
Didn't love the whole if I was running the country vibe, but I think that's just because, you know, when people are like, now if it was up to me, you're like, okay.
Yeah, it is. Well, like, I'm not going to lie, I have said stuff like that in the past. Because sometimes you would love to be able to just go, oh, why can't they just fucking see it this way? Yeah. Or, you know.
You'd be like, try it. Yeah. Try it for a week.
Obviously. But obviously there is logic and there's infrastructure there for a reason. And obviously I don't know enough about it. Like, it's, you know.
No, it's a really flawed system. Everybody in Ireland knows how flawed it is. Politicians know how flawed it is. Yeah. But I think it's probably it's a lack of resources and a lack of investment. Yeah.
A lack of resources are absolutely fucking 100% because...
And lack of investment.
But even down to the means testing, if it was done properly, you could be saving millions. Like, yeah. If it was... Because, I mean, and then again, this is one of those rumours that I don't know firsthand anybody... Oh, sorry. Well, I mean... No, I don't know firsthand, but you hear of taxi drivers going to pick people up at the airport to come and collect their social welfare and then dropping them back to the airport. Have you ever heard this?
I've never heard of that before in my life.
Okay, so a couple of years ago.
Hilarious. And also if you're paying a taxi to claim it, fucking hell. Yeah. 30 quid one way.
I know, yeah. But this was a thing that I was told by a taxi driver years ago, and I've heard a few people saying it, like, you know, but then again, it's one of those things going around the rumour mill, and you're just like,
We've got arms and legs and fucking headed off to Prague.
Yeah, so like Polish people coming over to collect their children's allowance and their social welfare, and then going back.
That's an expensive habit.
It is a very expensive habit, but if it's worth your while, I don't know.
I mean, if it was worth your while, you do it, but at the same time, it's a lot of hassle.
I don't know how true that is, but...
Oh, this one's a good one. So, social welfare is a joke. Friend has 2 kids, and up until recently, when they broke up, she was living with the father. Got reported loads, she kept getting away with it. She then got a cash in hand job, reported again, seen at work, and still got away with it. She's claiming single mothers, gets HAP, so her rent is like 80 quid a month for a 3-bed house. After the breakup, she moved in her new fella, and he pays rent and all the bills, and she's still claiming to be out of work. She then decided she wasn't getting enough, so applied for carers allowance for her elderly grandparents, who she visits about once a fortnight. She moved her sister in after a row at home, and she won't let her claim social because the older sisters will be cut. Younger sister minds grandparents and gets nothing. My friend expects money from her sister but won't let her claim social. They wouldn't have a good name in the town, so it's very hard for the younger sister to get a job. Older sister, when in school, was asked what she wanted to do the following year, constantly said, I'm going to have a baby and get a house and live off the social. This was the life goal. She got paid to do a makeup and nail course and did it, and then did cash jobs from her house. This sickens me so much, as I did 4 years of college and 3.5 years of professional exams to get a shitty wage, 25k per year, and get absolutely no help from the government. I even earn too much for a medical card. System is a joke. We're 27 now. She's never had a legitimate job in her life, and it comes out with more a month than I do before bills. Between singles mothers, carers allowance and children's allowance, HAP a medical card. I know this isn't a payment, but it's still a huge cost saving. It is. Yeah, definitely.
It is, yeah.
Sorry for the rant. It makes my blood boil.
I would also... My blood would be boiling if I knew somebody who was doing that much.
That's a lot.
It is like
that's a full-time fucking job.
But like, and then again, like again, I keep going back to saying it with these. You know, you hear these rumors and what people are doing, and you're just like, is that really true? Is it really fucking possible? And then when you hear stories like that, it's like, yeah, it is happening. And it
now I have
your heart.
I have known loads of girls to claim single parents and live with the fella. That's a given. I think that's a given. But at the same time, it's a shite life, because if they just rock up to your door, you have to.
Yeah.
You know, they can't be there, and if the car is seen too much, and the blah, 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 blah. And, you know, like Tom's sister in the UK, she was getting, I can't remember. She was getting something for single parents. Her and her daughter's dad split up. So she was still living, I think she was getting rent allowance for the house. But he had bills still coming, and they just cut her off immediately.
Wow.
And she was like...
Because he didn't change his address.
He didn't change the address, but he wouldn't change the address.
Oh, is he trying to do it on purpose?
I don't know. She was like trying to contact him, and he was just like, "Oh, whatever, yeah, whatever. I'll change it. Never did. So every so often, she was getting cut off, and she was like, "I physically can't pay my rent.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot come up with 800 quid out of fucking my hole."
Yeah.
And they were just like, "Well, why is he getting letters to the house then?" Like, they're really strict in the UK. But the benefits in the UK are shite.
Oh, yeah, they're really bad.
Like, job seekers is like £70 or something.
But at the same time, and like I said, I'm going to be going on maternity leave, and I'm not looking forward to it because I don't feel like I'll be able to live off it. But at the same time, with the likes of job seekers and that, I do and I don't think it should be less than... do you know what I mean? I'm reluctant to say it should be less, so that people are less inclined to do it, because I know that looking for work can be hard, and when you do need it, you need it, and there's absolutely nothing that can be done about it.
Well, maybe that's when a tiering system will kind of come in.
Yeah.
You know, if you had loads of proof, because I mean, sometimes, as I said, it can happen. Like, imagine you're applying for 10 jobs a month. But sometimes, like Tom's application for his job, it took him 3 days.
Yeah.
It was really, really long. And you have to come up with, you have to think. It's not like an application thing where you tick the box. You have to like think about your answers, put down your competencies. And I know a lot of jobs are like that nowadays.
Yeah.
So imagine you were doing that. Like, that would be a full-time fucking job.
It would,
to do that, to apply for whatever. And then you're only getting brought to maybe one interview. What if you're not even getting past the first round? So if you had proof of all that, would it be better if you were like, well, we can up your payment slightly? to give you a break if you're
Absolutely,
struggling.
yeah. Well,
Or you
that's what
could
I-
apply for an exemption or something. Do you know what I mean? Something along those lines.
Yeah,
But
well, that's
same
what I
with
think.
maternity.
What that girl was saying there about if somebody's been working 25 years, they should be entitled to get more money, and it should be the same if you are able to prove that you're genuinely looking for work and you're, like you should be, I suppose, rewarded for that, or at least not rewarded for it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
compensated. For, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. There's one here, controversial, but I feel like claiming the social welfare is almost hereditary.
Oh.
Everyone in my family works and all own their own homes, and I private rent. A friend of mine lives at home in his parents' council house. Most of his aunts and uncles are in council houses, getting lone parents even though they aren't. Very few of them work, and they were reared in a council house and are raising another generation like that. There's 10 family on the street doing the exact same. I don't stand a chance of ever being eligible for a council house, nor do I want to be. But if I was born into a family in one on the dole, I'd know no different. People in Ireland should be made work harder for what they are handed, and claiming job seekers allowance long term should just not be allowed.
I see where she's coming from, because I mean they're not called disadvantaged areas for nothing. Like there are pockets of places that you see the recurrent habits of people. It's like people who have drug addicts as parents will oftentimes get into sticky situations like that themselves. There are things that you're just like that. She said, no different.
Yeah, and I do think it's. Things can be licked off a stone, like if it's in the bitch, it's in the pup. Like there is a lot of that. It's same with behavioural issues and kids' behavioural issues. You're like, well, they didn't get it from fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
But I just think that with that can be true. But then there is those. Sometimes you can talk to somebody who came from a really disadvantaged background and they're a fucking millionaire because they were like, I didn't want that for me.
Great,
I just didn't want that for me.
I suppose it's
I
down
knew what
to
I missed.
It's down to the individual in a case like that, I think.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I do kind of agree where you do see it like.
I don't love some of the wording.
No.
Definitely not. Like, as far as like council houses. Again, council houses nowadays, they're not like council houses. Do you know what I mean? Council houses are like council houses.
Yeah, I'd like to actually give my little opinion here.
Yeah.
I can apply for a council house.
Yeah.
Even though I'm saving for a mortgage, I'm still going to apply to go on the housing list.
Yeah, defo.
I am. I have the application at home. I'm waiting.
I have it.
I have it.
I have it.
I'm waiting until I have my kids so that I have a dependent on that application form. But I'm going to be applying for it as me, Adam, and the baby as a family unit.
Yeah.
It actually does say, on the I just kind of flipped through it just really quickly just to see, because I didn't know whether I was entitled to it or not. Again, it's just one of these things that I didn't know. And obviously you can go to Citizens Information for all of this. But I just looked through it really quickly and I was actually surprised to see things on it that related to me, and I was like, I can apply for this. One of the boxes on the application form was reason for wanting to apply to move from where you are, and it was living with parents was one of them. Living separately, was it? Yeah, living away from your partner was another one. Do you know what I mean? So basically mine
you were
were
like
Adam.
tick
Tick
all them fucking boxes, all of that.
So we will, when the baby is born, me and him will apply to go on the housing list. And it's not to get a council house. I know that the housing list is so fucking long.
Yeah.
We'll more than likely save for our deposit before
you
we're
get,
even close to the top of that list, close to the middle of the list. But there are situations in that sometimes you will be looked at quicker for schemes that may come out in the budget. Say like years ago there was an affordable housing scheme, and it was provided by the councils and the government. Now you still applied for a mortgage, you still got a mortgage, and you're still privately paying for your house, but you were looked at quicker if you were on the housing list. So it does benefit you to be on it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not anything to be sniffed at.
No, that's,
you know what I mean?
Tom grew up in a council house.
Yeah, it's kind of better to be looking at it rather than looking for a situation.
Yeah,
so
definitely. Yeah.
That's why
I get that.
So I'm with the council house thing, like, it's not even that it's not like it was years ago. It's really not.
Council houses used to be
council houses.
Council houses, like, And even Tom said that, even he's like, the council house that the first one that we were in, fucking awful. Like, he was like, very dodgy part of town, not a fab place to be, but it's not the way it used to. Like, now there's council houses in, like, normal estate, like, not normal estates, do you know what I mean? Like, as in...
Well, 10% of any estate can be a council house.
There you go.
So, if you look at it that way.
Yeah.
I have one here. I love that we have a social welfare system. I know it's abused at times, but I'd rather pay my taxes and live somewhere where I know I won't get turfed out on the street if I miss a payment than somewhere on social welfare is too minimal. My issue is that we all deserve basic social welfare of healthcare, education and housing, and we don't get that. Healthcare is only quote unquote free at the critical stage, but if we invested more into primary care, people might not progress to the critical stage. Also, don't dread your social welfare. Oh, this is a message to me, obviously.
Oh.
Also, don't dread your social welfare from maternity leave. You pay PRSI in your job to cover it. You deserve it. If you crashed your okay, right, I'm just going to leave that bit out. No, my job aren't paying a fucking thing towards me, sorry.
I do feel like, again, you know, I remember, like, one of my mates going on social welfare and all my friends were like, well, I'd rather you get my tax.
Yeah, as if they're fucking giving it.
Like, I'd rather it be you as opposed to her who was working for the past 10 years.
Like,
I was like, what? Well, I'd rather it be you rather than some scrounger. I was like, what are you talking about? You're not contributing fuck all. She's probably on her credits for the first while.
Yeah.
I remember just being like, what?
I know, it's so
as if she
funny.
hadn't worked for the last 10 fucking years.
It's so funny that people are like, oh, well, that's my taxpayers' money.
Yeah, oh, my taxpayers' money. That's mine.
As if the $5 you've paid through your USC just went into somebody else's pocket.
Yeah, as if you were,
Stop.
thank you for that €5.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
Doesn't work like that.
So the government seems to pit everybody against each other and make the working people have bad feelings towards people on social vice versa. That's literally what we were just saying.
Yeah, it does.
That is so true.
People who work look down on people on social welfare.
Because you would be Scarlett. You'd hardly be like, I'm just currently on job seekers.
Yeah. No,
you wouldn't announce that at a dinner party to all your mates, would you? You hardly
like you
would.
said, nobody really enjoys being on
No, some people, let's not lie, like, there is always going to be those people who don't care. They're like, yeah, I'm on job seekers, I'm what? I get me bits, I get me bobs. But,
yeah,
you know, in your heart of hearts, it's not probably where you want to be.
I feel like if I went on job seekers, like if my job was gone by tomorrow and I ended up going on job seekers, I would be like justifying it.
Do you think you'd move job?
What do you mean?
Do you think you'd find a different work?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, but I would be justifying it, do you know what I mean? I'd be like, yeah, I'm on job seekers, but I've been working since I was 16 and, you know, I probably would bang it all out.
I know.
Do you know
and you
what I
almost feel like you have to have a spiel, like,
yeah,
but I've been doing this, that and the other, and I'm only doing this because of this, and it's actually, do you know, it's one, it's this, it's that, it's the other. Whether it's like, sometimes I'm like, you're on job seekers, do your best, relax.
Yeah, exactly.
Chill out, apply for your jobs, see what you can do with that time now.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Productively.
Yeah. I have in here, hey guys, absolutely love the podcast, thank you. I had my son while still in secondary school, age 16. I was lucky enough to have the support with my family helping to finish my last year in school. I was on a lone parent family for the first 10 years of his life, but always worked part-time. I feel like the social welfare can be somewhat of a trap and difficult to get out of, as working full-time you can come out with almost the same amount as being on social welfare. That's what we were saying earlier on. I think back to college 6 years ago. Once I left, I began working full-time and gladly put my social welfare days behind me, as there was no reason why I couldn't work full-time. I think social welfare is amazing for people who need it, and it benefited me greatly raising my son and getting an education. However, potential unpopular opinion, I think it's also sometimes an easy way out for lazy people who have no physical or mental reason not to work and almost end up with an entitled attitude towards it.
Yeah. Well, I think if you get something for free, you can become entitled to it, can't you?
Yeah,
you can kind of have an attitude.
Well, it's not that. You start taking it for granted. That's what it is. Like, do you know what I mean? And then that's just your way of life then. And if it's not there, all of a sudden you're just like, where's my money?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Where's my benefit?
Yeah, exactly. But you see, like in her situation, I would never be like, oh, for fuck's sake, another bleeding. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's benefited her, and it's absolutely great to see that's how her life went. Do you know what I mean?
Out, yeah.
That she was able to use it while she was getting her education, then put that behind her and started working full time for her and a little baby. Like, that's what you want to be seeing. You know what I mean? You want to be seeing people actually benefiting from the benefits.
Yeah, I know. Like, it actually doing something for them.
Yeah.
Here's a little quick one. I went to college with a lad who received disability because of albinism. I think, was he albino then? Yeah. He also received the full grant for college. Grant, I think she meant. He kept both incomes secret for the other by putting them into a post office account and one into the bank. It total came to roughly $2,500 a month plus fees paid, whereas I don't qualify for any student assistance. I have to seek loans and work in order to be able to afford college. It's the scamming the system I have the problem with, not the receiving of the help where warranted.
Wow.
I see both sides.
I see both sides.
Because I'm like, if you can do it,
if you can get away with it,
yeah, literally.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm like, if you can fucking do it.
I know, and I'm complaining about it. Don't get me wrong. I'm complaining that people do it, but you can see why they. But that's ultimately down to the fucking system. Like, that's where it shouldn't be happening.
But I think that's what she's saying. But it's also like, it's such a weird one. It's like, don't be thick at him for doing it, be thick at them for not helping you.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? In a kind of way, it's like, don't be annoyed at him.
Don't hate the player.
Yeah, hate the game. Yeah,
hate the game.
Quite literally. Don't hate the player. Hate the game, guys.
Exactly.
That's what I'm trying to say about social welfare.
Yeah, no, it really is. Like, it's just shocking that they can actually get away with that. Do you know what I mean? Would I have the neck? I don't know. I would feel like I was looking over my shoulder all the time. In the same way,
it is. Yeah, your heart would be...
like, in the same way that I could probably turn around, quit my job and say, yeah, I'm a single parent, and what? And then have Adam living in
me attic.
Yeah, and then have, like, go rent a house, have to pay for most of it, and have Adam... I would probably get away with it.
Yeah.
But I couldn't... I'm just the type of person that couldn't.
But that, I think it does come down to your morality, doesn't it? Like, what you will risk.
Yeah.
You know, like, some people risk mad stuff, some people don't. Some people gamble, some people wouldn't. You know, it's all that kind of stuff. It's like, it's not always just so... That's why I'm like, don't get thick at other people for taking the risk.
Yeah, when I could easily do it myself.
When someone created that fucking loophole in the first place. Yeah.
Exactly. That's true.
When they don't, you know, double check to make sure that they've given all their banks or all their other kind of bits and bobs. So there you go. Love the pod. Don't know exactly whether this is including welfare, but I find the CSU grant for college students completely unfair. My family's earnings is just above the bracket to entitle you to the grant, which means I must pay my full $3 grand fee. I thought that said 30 grand. I was like, Jesus, college has changed. $3,000 fees every year. As well as this, I'm considered a dependent applicant purely because I'm under the age of 23, even though I've not lived in my house since I was 18. I'm in a huge amount of debt as I'm paying for this myself, and I've had to have 3 loans for the past 3 years to pay my college fees. I think if I can prove I do not live with my parents and they do not pay for anything for me, I should be considered as an independent candidate.
Absolutely.
But as I'm only 22, they will not accept it. I've pleaded with them again and again, but nothing can be done. Yeah, see, I think the problem is the serious amount of red tape. This red tape vibe, I feel like a lot with grants, it's like it's a yes or it's a no, and it's like, but no, there is a grey area.
Yeah.
Not everything is just such a yes or no answer. It's not everything you just qualify or not qualify for. There can be some cases, and like if you can prove it, and be like, I have no fucking help.
Yeah.
What's the? Because that's what I do always found. That's what I always found a bit weird about grants and stuff like that. You had to put down like what your parents were making, and I'm like, but. Now, for me, obviously, it was different because my dad was paying for everything, but as in, I've never applied for a grant, but just some of my friends who have, you know. Yeah,
and it as well, it's kind of like, well, what fucking difference does it make? They're not going to pay for it. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I was to go for something that, because I'm living under my parents' roof, if I was to apply for something, they'd probably be like, oh yeah, well,
oh, I thought you were saying about her.
No.
What difference does it make? They're not going to fucking pay for it. Stop moaning.
No.
It's like, Jen.
No. It's like, yeah. I don't know. I have one here. I went to college with a lad who received disability because... Oh, sorry, this is the one that you did. Oh, shit, we're on the same...
on the same thing.
Why isn't that freezing? Okay. Sorry, we're both in the request. Will I go from the bottom of the...
Yeah, go from the bottom of the pile, babe.
Sorry about this.
I have one here already. Relation to social welfare. I come from a broken family. My dad was a chronic alcoholic and never worked a day in his life. He got social welfare, rent allowance, a whole lot, and it was never once questioned, or he was never required to provide anything, only that he was paying child support for me. Oh, for fuck's sake. He was diagnosed with terminal cancer in February 2016 and passed away following April at 53. I was a full-time student at the time, putting myself through college, living off very little. My mum lives abroad, so I had very little at the time. When my dad was diagnosed with cancer, my biggest fear was be paying for a funeral. I had no money, and as an only child and his only living family, all responsibility was left on me. When he passed away, I went to the local welfare officer crying and panicking about how I was going to afford it. They thankfully paid for it. I would have honestly been lost without them, and as someone who doesn't ask for help lightly, they were a godsend. I just want to send in my story because there is some good that comes out of the social welfare, and I was so thankful for what they have done. Oh God, that's great.
Where it's needed though.
But that's what I'm saying. That's like, it's nice to hear in this kind of the amount of shit stuff that's coming in, or
Yeah, no, it is, and I have seen people who benefit from the benefits.
Yeah,
that like it can be so helpful exactly where it's needed, and it's nice to see when it's getting used exactly where it's needed. But it's just, there's so much, like you said, there's so much of a grey area where people are just taking advantage of it, and it gives it a bad name.
Yeah, whether it's something like that. Like, that probably changed your life.
Oh, absolutely. Wouldn't
like
it, though?
What we were saying about the mortgage thing as well, that 6 months, those 6 months can like change your life. As in, if they stopped your mortgage for 6 months, you'd be like, oh my God, I have 6 months to pick up I can do all my bits now. And if that was off your head, you'd be like, right, I don't have to worry about that.
Absolutely.
Because not only are you panicking about the fact that your dad is going to pass away, he knows he's going to pass away.
Yeah.
You're like, how am I going to pay for the funeral?
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah.
But great that you got help.
Yeah, so glad you got help. This one for next week's pod. Oh, she sent this in after she listened to the last one. Thank you for that. Drives me up the wall when people who have never paid a cent of tax in their life. Brackets. Not talking about people are on the disability, etc. Get social welfare, not a bother. Go on fancy holidays, all with other people's taxes. We were saying this about the thing. Now, I know that other people's taxes do contribute to it. It's just,
you probably contributed to your full payment. Let's not lie.
In capital letters, drives me bleeding mad. Never worked a day in their life and will encourage all their children to do the same. Which is what we were saying earlier. Sometimes if it's in the bitch, it's in the pup.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So like, I think a lot of people have the same opinion on this, but it's the same. It's because it's been given such a bad name from people taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
Do you know? You know.
So love the podcast, girls. Making me feel like I'm chilling with my friends having a chat. Whoop, that's what we go for.
Thank you.
That's what we like. In regards to your podcast, RE Social Welfare Scoundrels, for a long time I believed it was basically a handout and did not understand fully why it was essential. However, living on my own now and being fully independent, I see things differently. I don't think social welfare is a problem at all. These allowances need to be in place for people who find themselves in unforeseen circumstances or have fallen on hard times. In my opinion, the true problem in our country is the education system failing so many. Most people who leave school early are those who regularly depend on allowances. If you were born into a home where education was not held with importance and you were not shown a life of depending on allowances, you are far more likely to follow suit. The education system was changed to reflect those who find reading and writing difficult but thrive in mastering a trade. We would all find a skill we were exceptionally gifted in and pursue that as a career. Then and only then we would resort to using allowances when necessary. Yeah. You can't applaud a fish for its ability to climb a tree is basically what I'm trying to say with the education system. If we're all shown our unique talents, people would be happy to pursue careers as opposed to mediocre jobs that don't motivate them and hoping to get on and off the dole. So very long-winded, but that's my opinion. People will probably not agree. Why wouldn't people take advantage of social welfare when they know nothing else? Educate people differently and it will relieve the problem.
Absolutely.
I say it all the time. Everything comes back to education.
Yeah. It is, like I said though, with so many of these things, it's down to the individual as well.
It is.
How they deal with that.
It is, but I think it's so right, isn't it? It's like if we were taught these things, like if there was other options, if there was other opportunities. Like, I remember when I was doing my makeup course, everybody was really like, why are you doing makeup? And now fucking look. If I'd only if only I was clever and actually did it full time, because back then I was like, no, I want to go to college too.
Yeah.
Fuck drain for 4 or 5 years doing that.
You just don't.
You know, it's all experience. I wouldn't regret it, but it's like if only I'd actually put my thinking cap on and went, actually, what do you like to do?
Yeah, you have no fucking cop on when you're 18,
No,
don't
you're
you?
so thick.
So thick. Oh my God. If I can only go back.
I know, and it's one of those things, I always feel like, I say this all the time, I'm like, I don't feel 29. Like, I just don't feel like I'm going to be 30 next year. Like, I feel like 23. But then I'm also like, I do not feel 23.
No, because I was stupid when I was 23.
Yeah. I was thick.
Made such bad decisions.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Somebody invent a time machine so just go back and tell myself.
Literally, if anybody out there, just invent one.
Yeah.
Send it in to us.
I'm sure they're working on it. I'm sure it's already been invented. I'm sure that's the thing.
I tell you. I'll be first in queue, first in line. Shall we wrap it up?
We shall wrap it up, shall we? So in conclusion.
Mixed feelings.
Yeah. A lot of people have the opinion that a lot of people on social welfare are just scoundrels. Whereas obviously it is a very essential thing for people who do need it. Like if the benefit system wasn't there, or if they were really fucking strict on it, I wouldn't be getting maternity leave, basically.
But like that would be fucked as well.
Yeah, that would be fucked as well. So like we agree with it when people really need it, and absolutely would never begrudge anybody getting help off the system if they needed it, but at the same time, like, stop fucking taking advantage of it. Seriously, just stop. If you're listening to this, if you are a social welfare scoundrel, just stop.
See, I feel like almost in a way keep doing it, because nothing will change until it really becomes a problem, do you know? Because they've tweaked things over the years. Sure, they've changed loads of bits. Yeah,
they have. Yeah.
So there you go.
What's next week's episode on?
Bullying.
We are going to be recording on Wednesdays to get your opinion into us before then about bullying. It is a word that's thrown around an awful lot.
Bullying in the workplace. I mean, I know it's a huge thing in teenagers, bullying in school, the way that people are brought up, but there's loads of different forms of bullying.
There is, yeah.
Like
gaslighting and stuff.
Gaslighting, loads of other different bits and bobs. Bullying in relationships. It's something bigger than I think any of us anticipated. I think we all thought when we were younger
bullying
would go away once we were out of school.
No,
almost increases.
Definitely doesn't.
So if you have any opinions on what we just said there, all different kinds of all different forms of bullying, online bullying, trolling, any of those kind of things as well. I know we've lightly touched on it, but if you have any stories that might have related back to your work or any kind of environments that have affected your mental health or affected your well-being, let us know.
Yeah, let us know and we will talk to you then.
We'll talk to you then.
Bye.
Bye.